Oh, now we're live.
Yeah. Hey guys, Sarge Recovery here, doing another video. Got an interview that I'm doing today with a gospel artist, a buddy of mine, that's name happens to be Rezrected.
What's happening, everybody?
All right, so before we get into this, if you guys aren't subscribed, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, get the notifications, hit the like if you guys could help me with the algorithm gods, and leave me a comment, tell me what you think after the fact. Also, during the live stream, go ahead and hit any questions that you guys have down in the comments, and we'll end up getting to those. Now, so shout out to your label. Tell them where they can find you and all that stuff.
The label I'm with is Dubstar LLC. You can find them at dubstar.com. You can go to my website at www.resurrected.org. The music's distributed on all streaming platforms through Tough Gong International.
And who is Tough Gong?
It's actually the Marley's label. It's only a record label for the Marleys, but they're also a distribution company for other artists.
Okay. And how long have you been with them?
Going on, my album's been out a year now.
Nice.
Second one's coming out this year. Haven't got a date set yet.
Okay.
Just yet. But all the mixing.
Corona fucked that up.
Yes. Corona did.
All right. So the topic of this interview today is to what exactly got you to where you're at now? Like when you were younger, what were you doing? What was your mindset? What ended up getting you to the path that you're on today?
Well, I guess we're going to start at the beginning. For some reason,
if you start at the end, it'll be over. So yeah, the beginning would be better.
So I don't know. For some reason, I've always had this disregard for authority growing up. Don't know why. It was just always there. I wasn't out there directly just doing crimes just to be doing crimes or being bad just to be being bad. I just didn't care about being good too much. But I lived in Japan for 5 years, and as a military kid, my dad was in the military, so I was going to school on base, and the schools never failed me, so I didn't have to do no work. I just kept on passing. So I'm not using that as an excuse, Kyle. I see you looking at me now. It was more my decision making, but the fact that they didn't hold you accountable for your actions did play a part in how I was brought up, though.
So that's why you can't read or write?
No, I can read and write. I got my GED. Anyway, so got back stateside around high school time, and they didn't just pass you along. So I ended up doing 10th grade like 3 times before I just quit.
Makes sense.
Right? In and out of detention centers as a juvenile they sent me away for 60 days for kicking a bird one time. It was totally self-defense. It pecked me first. I probably shouldn't have told that to the judge. But again, like I had no respect for authority. Around the age of 17, 18, there was this hurricane that came through South Carolina, and everybody evacuated. They evacuated all the inmates. So what was told to us was there's only 2 police roaming around Beaufort, South Carolina at the time. So I stayed, and we ran through all kind of stores and just doing dumb stuff as a kid. Well, it ended up giving me not just a little 30 days, 60 days in DJJ. It was 1 to 6 years, and I ended up doing 4 years and 8 months off of that.
Question: Is South Carolina Commonwealth?
Commonwealth? I don't know. I know Virginia is, but I don't think South Carolina is.
Okay.
So now that put all right, Brent, you can't be bad no more. Like they don't play. So I stopped doing dumb stuff per se and started. I wouldn't even call it maturing, but getting to that point where it's like, okay, well now I got to start providing for myself. Already had a kid, went through one marriage, one divorce, starting over, going to Atlanta, coming back home, starting over, moving to Florida, starting back over. And I did have something missing in my life. You know what I mean? And about the ninth time of starting back over, I had a friend that I knew from childhood. Um, she was moving up to Michigan, which that got canceled. She had gotten in an accident and ended up staying in Cleveland. But she called me and she said, "Hey Brent, I just got my apartment. Why don't you come on up and we could try it out like we always talked about?" And I was like, "Oh boy, we starting over again."
Well, before we get to Cleveland,
Okay.
so when did you first get into the music industry? When
Well,
was that?
I wouldn't say I got into the industry per se. I was dibbling dabbling in Atlanta. I mean, the song made it to the radio a little bit, but it really didn't go nowhere. Because with the trend steady changing, I had partners that was okay with their wife, with being okay with them just being in the studio, make music, like no job per se. Like I don't know, I didn't have that luck. I had to work.
So what was the name of the group that you were part of?
It was called the Ambassadors in Atlanta.
And when that radio hit the song hit the radio, was it just local, or was it like did it get some buzz? Or
I think it was just local. It was
Okay.
just local. Yeah, it didn't really go too far. There's still the group's still out there, still pushing. I've seen a couple of them made their way onto the digital platforms.
So around that time the reason you left was because you had to keep working?
The left where?
Like you ended up leaving the group, like you stopped
Well, I didn't
being
really
part of
leave
that.
the group. It was just my presence wasn't as involved due to the fact that I was pretty much the only one, you know what I mean, outside the group that was a regular 9 to 5. I mean, I'm sure they had their ways of making money, but that's them.
So when did you end up getting out of prison and getting all that stuff done?
I went in 99, 98, and I think I maxed out. I went in, came out, then went back in, and then I think I maxed out 05.
So you went to prison on that. No, this is not Carlos Santana. But did you end up going to prison?
I like that.
How many times did you go to prison on that case?
Well, see, I call it 4 years and 8 months. It's known in South Carolina. If anybody's from South Carolina that knows what a YOA is a baby life sentence, pretty much. Well, what we called it, because you go through this program that you're supposed to go through 2 months of boot camp and then 6 months on the yard to see what it's like. And then you could legitimately come home in like 9 months if you behave. I never made it 9 months. Like I always stayed 18 months and then came home for like 2 and then went back for like 18 more. Because when we were as a youthful offender, there was no like, you didn't get no three chances or a chance. Like if you messed up one time on parole, like you go back to the program and you go back to the boot camp and back to the yard and back to the 12-step thing. I had to memorize the 12 steps before they let me out. 1 to 12, bro.
So
I couldn't do it now, but
so when you ended up going through and getting released, what exactly was your mindset when you were inside prison waiting to get out? And then once you hit the streets, where was your mind at?
I knew that as far as acting before thinking when I was making decisions, like that changed dramatically. Like they broke me of that. I will give it to the South Carolina Department of Corrections. I learned how to think before I act because I spent so much time with them because I acted before I thought before. Now coming out, I can't say that it was all the way changed because I kind of feel like those years, 98 to 05, 97, 05, whatever, it was like 17 to 25 per se. You know, those years are kind of like those years where you formulate what you're gonna do in life, and I didn't do that until like after. So those 25 to 30, I kind of lived like 17 to 25, and I went through a failed marriage. Like it lasted 5 years, and I can't say it was all failed because through that marriage, I feel like I learned what it was like to become, you know, what it took to be a husband. You know, I remember when I had we went and tied the knot in Vegas, and she looked at me. She told me, she's like, "There's a difference between a boyfriend and a husband," and I was like, "All right, okay." And I didn't learn it until like the divorce, like when I finally the divorce happened. Like I seen I can look back and see what it takes now to be a husband. So I can't say that the marriage was just a total failure. We had a kid, Kingston, great kid. And then after that, I ended up again back home, starting over.
So what year did you come to Cleveland?
I came to Cleveland in 2014. I remember because it was right when those 3 girls were found. Okay. I remember I got off the bus and then I heard about it.
So what were you doing for work? Like what were you doing to take care of yourself in and out of prison and then after prison?
When I got out, well, while I was going in and out of prison, I was doing illegal, you know. Had a couple cousins I ran with, but again, that just as fast as it came, as fast as it went. I mean, still to this day, I don't have the mindset to like a big saver like that. So you can just imagine as fast as the money came in, it went out. I lucked up and ended up getting a helper job as a helper for this electrical company in Beaufort, South Carolina. I wish I could tell you the name. Kent Electric. And ended up like fascinated with the trade. Like I took on to it real fast. Like within a month, I was, you know, doing things that normal people in the trade wouldn't do till like a year or two later. And so I stuck. So I stuck with it. And after now this was through the marriage. Because she was living in Atlanta and I was in South Carolina, and I stuck with her for 2 years and then moved to Atlanta, where I ended up doing 2 more years in the trade, and then I took myself through school through Everest, and then so really all along, like about 13 years I've been doing electrical work, you know, as far as a legitimate trade to make money and provide a life for myself.
All right, so you ended up coming up to Cleveland, and you said in 2014. I actually came to Cleveland in 2014 as well. You didn't meet me until 2015. Now, so around what time, what exactly got you to where you're at now, to where you went from I'm going to say gangster rapper, because I'm assuming you were doing.
Well, I was.
I got a question for you. Did you have gold teeth while you rapped?
Yeah.
Down. Okay, so we're gonna just go with gangster. We'll just use a blanket term like gangster rapper.
Okay.
But what was the transition from you coming to Cleveland and like becoming a gospel artist?
The transition per se, it came in a way that I didn't expect it to come. I mean, up until I want to say 2016, I didn't have a belief that there was a God, or I didn't believe in God. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't believe in the devil neither, but like I just didn't believe in no higher power or nothing like that. But I knew something was missing in my life. But I got involved and wrapped up with this electrical trade, trying to climb the ladder and get to the highest, make the most, like be the best in this trade, that I spent months and months of 18-hour days, and didn't take to account the effect that it would have on the home life.
Okay.
Now, so and I mean, like, I was really ignorant. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. Like, soon they would tell me it's time to go home. Like, I'm mad because I got to go home and I want to be here. Like, I'm ready to stay here and work some more. Like, so I let this electrical trade like take over my life to the point where like I neglected my home life. Now, I can't say what transitioned after that was the proper way, but I can understand why. Now, I moved up here, and me and my best friend from childhood, we started a relationship. And I guess I always thought that after 20 plus years, like, you would assume no matter what the situation is, like, you would be able to say, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. Like, this is what's happening. Like, what we gonna do about it? Like, I feel like that part, like, no, I felt I should have at least gotten that. But on the other hand, in order for me to not go in the same cycle, I had to do something different. Because I knew if I flipped, like, it will be back all over again. I'm back down south, back starting over again. And I knew that I played a cause in her decision to have an extramarital affair. Well, I mean, we weren't married, but you know what I mean, to have an affair or for affection. Like, I get it. So that really wasn't what like hurt me, but I guess it was more that I didn't get that, hey, this is what's happening, this is what you're doing, this is how I'm feeling, and this I'm getting interested in, like, what we going, like, I didn't get that. So that was really more what stemmed this search for something different. Like, I needed something different that I have not done in my life in order to get different results. And I knew that God was the only thing that was never in my life. Like, my parents, they tried to raise me through church, but it never stuck. So I grabbed the kids, and like for a good solid month and a half, it was just me and the kids going to church every Sunday, because it was crazy how you when you fall, like, 'cause I'm gonna be honest, like, from the time I got up here to the time that happened, like, I can't say that I always had love for her, but I can't say that I fell in love with her. You know what I mean? And I fell in love with her when that happened. And it's weird to say, but so it was just me and the kids going to church, and as men, as we all do when we trying to save a relationship, we're throwing money at it, we're flowers, whatever, let's go on a date, and it was just smothering her. It made it worse. So like
We in the red pill community called that simping.
okay, whatever you want to call it. All I'm saying is I was at a moment where I recognized what I did wrong, and I wanted to take course of action to fix my part. You know what I mean? Even though I know what she did was wrong, or how she went about it was wrong, I was more focused on, okay, before I can talk to her about hers, like I need to fix mine. So
So what you're saying is that you let you yourself lost your purpose, and you weren't leading, so
correct, correct,
your
correct,
girl
correct,
wasn't following.
correct.
So you ended up deciding to get into church, and you started doing that. So how long were you like? How, like, take me into how long you were going to church until you ended up getting married, to how, like, how from there to how it went to you starting to do gospel music.
Right. So it's crazy. Is like I said, a month and a half. Like we didn't speak for that pretty much the whole month and a half. Like I knew I woke up, I went to work, and I knew consciously that she woke up, and you know what I mean. A month and a half go by, and then she come to me one day and she go, "Brent, there's something different about you." Because I finally got to the place where, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was crying, bro. Like I was down, like broken, and I finally got after about a month and a half, like I got to a point where, like, okay, I'm gonna be fine, regardless of how this turned out. And as soon as like I got to that assumption, was like the same day she was like, "Hey Brent, like I don't know what's going on with you, but I see something different in you that like I want to. So can I come to church with y'all next Sunday?" Like I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? And it seemed like from that point, when she started coming to church, like what I was trying to like repair and sever at the same time, like kind of did it on its own. And then I ended up going through a discipleship class, which I got ordained as a deacon in our church, and then was able to in turn give the class, which my wife took, and she was ordained as a deaconess. Um, we got married. Matter of fact, tomorrow is our anniversary.
I'm just gonna say, you owe me a thank you for your wife not being mad at you. I'm just saying.
Tomorrow. So June 23rd. I can't remember the year, bro. Oh my gosh. Anyway, June 23rd.
I think it was 2016.
Bam. No, wasn't 16.
Yeah, because I don't think Liam was born yet.
It had to be 17. But it had to be. I remember 16. 16 was like a treacherous year. That was a worst year and like best year like of my life, like smashed, like more worse than best. But anyway, so I remember being in church and there was this guy, Mike, and they asked him to do his song, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna rap? Oh man, we can hear some rap music in church today." And he did his little song and I liked it. And of course she looked over, she goes, "What did you go do?" You know, and I didn't think about it, you know, and so I had a little laptop at home with the little blue snowball microphone that you can get from Walmart. You stuck, and I was recording a couple songs here and there, and then I was able to perform one for Pastor Appreciation Month. Now how I was able to transition to making it all the way official with the label and the distribution. When I was working as a foreman, there was this guy that got sent to my job, moved here from California with his business partner. And for about 2 weeks, he used to listen to the music I was playing because I would record songs at home and then I just play them at work all day. And he used to bug me all the time. Come to the studio, come to the studio, come to the studio. I mean, look, I didn't know that he was the owner of the label at the time. And that they had acquired a distribution deal through Tough Gong for 3 years. But after about 2 weeks, I was like, you know what? Fine, come on. But like I knew that at first when I wrote the song and performed it at church, it was really to have my you know what I mean, to play a position in church and you know, get praised the way like I feel like it prays, you know, and be personal with it. So after about 3 weeks of just work, going to his house, record. Finally, they was like, you know, why don't we got the label, we got the distribution deal, like we can make this happen. And at that time, like my biggest dream was to have my own Spotify channel. Like I wanted somebody to be able to go on Spotify and listen to my songs. And I remember after the second song I did, my daughter started getting into it, and we wrote a couple of songs together, and we was able to make a way to join this Unity tour, with a couple artists from Houston. Go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, you look like you was gonna say something.
Well, I was gonna say so the way that you incorporated the music in your life is you started to bring your family into what you were doing.
Correct. And so we was able to join this Unity tour, and we would go to different states and different churches and minister to the youth. And I was able to even go back to the juvenile detention centers here in Cleveland, and minister to them. I was able to I've been to every homeless shelter, ladies and men's, in Cleveland, and ministered to them. And I told myself when I got into, like, I didn't want to look at it, like we spoke earlier about this, like I didn't want to look at it as a way to make money, but to give a message and about what changed me, and that he could do the same for y'all. And that's what me and my manager, we always bump heads about it. But again, like they all understand, like I always focus on ministry first, like especially when it comes to music, because music can just manipulate minds, you know, and I don't want to present my God, you know what I mean, in any other fashion that wouldn't do nothing but edify the kingdom.
So so what is the yes, his album Nate is on Google Music Play.
Yeah.
You can also go to iTunes. It's on iTunes, correct?
Correct. It's everywhere. Shazam, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. You can go to dubstar.com. My album's there. If you have Roku television, I have a little family reality show, ministry kind of direction. It's on Dubstar Entertainment Television. It's called Living a Resurrected Life. If anybody has Roku television.
So with that being said, so what are you doing differently now? Because obviously, like you were saying, you ended up pretty much maturing. Like from 17 to 25, you spent going to prison and fucking up on the same case and going back. So after you got out, you had a lot more growing up to do. And from 25 to now, where you're 39 now, there's been a lot of growth and a lot of change. So what is exactly that you're doing differently now than you were doing necessarily like when you first came to Cleveland or when you got out? Like what has changed in your mindset? What are you doing differently for the future?
That I always put God first now. And a lot of people say that. I mean, I'm not saying that I take it to the extreme where I wake up, and I should. I mean, wake up and, Lord, what should I wear today? Or should I wear you know? But I always put God first when it comes to decision making, and I always try to look at it to be like a light to my kids. And to be, how you say, just to be a breath of life to those troubled kids that feel like the only choice they have to do is just to show out and disregard authority. I mean, I wasn't this big cartel story or this big drug dealer kingpin that found Christ and gave it all up, you know. But I want people to know that like your testimony has power in it, no matter how big or how small you may feel it is, you know. And I mean, you see that with the story of David and Goliath. You know what I mean? Like your testimony doesn't have to be this great, been in prison for 20 years and came home or whatever it may be. Like David did it with a little pebble. You know, it's how you throw the pebble.
So what are some of your goals right now? Because I know that you just went back to working a 9 to 5 job. So what are some of the goals that you have going on right now with your music and your outreach?
Right now we're in the middle of the next album is it's finished. The live musicians came and redid their part. I have to go back and redo all the vocals again, and then it goes into mix and mastering. I plan on releasing the album sometime this year. As far as ministry goes, I want to get back into the detention centers, the juvenile detention centers where those youth are. I mean, because I feel like being from there, that if somebody as myself would have came, I feel like there would have been a difference in my life. Like I feel like if somebody like me had came and spoke to the youth coming from the same place that they've been, you know.
You couldn't relate when you were younger.
No, not when I was younger. I'm saying I feel like if somebody my age now came to the detention center when I was younger in the detention center and ministered and spoke to us, spoke life into us, I feel like I probably would have been a little different than I am now. But then again, it's not our plan.
So, what are some of the artists that you've worked with?
I've worked with Kingdom Radical on a song called Preach. I did a remix with an artist from Houston named Dre Star. I did a song with him. Another artist from Houston, Sebastian T. I did a song with him. True Music out of Toledo. Did a song with him. It's just been great because it seems like now, like this music that I have with more ministry, like I feel it has more of a purpose and its growth, like really was no effort of my own per se.
So, do you have anything booked? Do you have anything anything booked up here?
Well, right now, no. Everything right now is pretty much the venues anyway are still shut down. Churches have opened back up. But as far as traveling state to state, I still don't think that's open back up yet.
And where can people find your music on YouTube? Do you have anything on YouTube?
I actually do. I have a couple videos up there on YouTube. I have Pray for You too. If you just Google my name Rezrected, it should come up. The album is entitled The Prodigal Son.
So just Resurrected, the way you have it spelled?
Yep, the way I have it spelled, you can hit space, The Prodigal Son.
So I'm gonna end up pulling up one of your songs.
Okay. Which one?
Pray for You. That's actually my favorite. I'm actually having trouble finding it on YouTube. Are you sure it's under something else?
It is on YouTube. Hold on. You can't find it?
I seriously cannot find it. I'm not even trying to be funny.
You playing with me, Kyle. Huh. Hey, I'm about to send you the. How can you not find it? Did you find it? No?
I did not find it, and I'm not being funny.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on.
Did your manager take it down? Because
I got you.
I don't see it.
Here.
Drop it in the link.
You got jokes today.
I don't. I seriously. I can share my screen and show it to you. I don't see it.
There, I sent you the.
Okay, I got it. I'm about to bring it up.
He had jokes today, people. As always.
I have jokes every day, but I wasn't playing with you on this one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up his I'm gonna bring this up, and we are going to watch this video.
Oh, look at that.
You guys can hear it, correct?
Nah. I can't hear it. That's pretty nifty, Kyle. You can make them screens split like that.
Let me rest my case. This is what I say. Say it when he's standing in my face.
Yeah. So, do you guys have trouble hearing that?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. So, one of the YouTubers that's one of the guys in the chat. He has his own channel that he actually does a channel that's on the spoken word.
Okay.
I think it's funny though that you changed outfits like 300 times in that video, but
that video was a journey. I enjoyed every minute of it though. That
yeah, that's actually my favorite song because when you were writing that album, yes, I know the audio is kind of weak. I am not exactly sure why when I share my screen on my end, it does not play the sound. So you're actually hearing the sound from me putting my headset to the speaker to my microphone. I apologize for it being weak. I'm having trouble. It's a little bit of technical difficulties with getting it to be able to go through the stream, but oh, I turned it all the way up as loud as I could get it. It was on 100. But so Pray For You is my favorite song because while you were writing it, that was my favorite song. Now I can tell you that I've heard these songs so many times working with you that I'd rather not. But that's just I heard
he
them
know the
every
whole
day.
verse though. He know the whole verse. I seen him rap it one day.
Yeah, I do. I've listened to it 1,000 times. So what exactly what do you got planned for this year? What do you plan on doing with your, like, are you, once everything opens back up, are you going to go back on tour? Do you have any venues that you can possibly go to when stuff opens back up? Like, do you have any ideas of what you're going to be doing?
Well, like that's the plan. That's the plan. Like you said, I'm back in the trade to make ends meet while this pandemic is going on. That's the plan though. If everything opens back up and things are going back to normal. But again, the way this year is going, it's really you got to take it a month at a time. Like it's kind of hard to try and plan things out just yet, per se. I mean, I don't know. The way things, I don't know. That's like a whole nother can of worms. Trying to plan something out as crazy as this year's been.
Yeah, so like from the time that I met you when you were living over on South Chardon or South
South
Chagrin. Yeah, off South Chagrin.
Kinsman.
You definitely have changed a lot. Like prior to you finding God, you really weren't so worried about the community, and as you found God, you've definitely been reaching out to the community, like your school drive for when the kids went back to school last year.
Yes, definitely.
The free concert that you guys ended up doing. Do you have any plans to do any free concerts or anything once everything opens up?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm always now at my home church. I do have things lined up that I'm planning out now. Because that as far as a venue per se, but then again, you can't really. I mean, as far as the school drive and the backpacks, like I'm gonna forever do that. Like that brought more fulfillment than words can explain. Being able to give back to the youth. Even if we were to plan an event, like it still would have to be coordinated with these guidelines as far as the social distancing is. I mean,
so as of right now,
yeah. I mean, I can't nothing set in stone right now. Really, just been really working on this next album. Been shooting this TV show. Um,
How many
and
episodes do you have?
well, right now I got 2 episodes up. Um, 3, 4, and 5. I have to finish up, and then they'll be up soon too.
Now, how many songs are you going to have on this track, and around what time of this year are you hoping to have it released?
This year, dang, I'm shooting for this year, like that. That's the goal. I can't even really set a date, but I know it's not going to be past December 31st, 2002. It's going to be from that date back somewhere around there.
So the next 6 months.
Yeah, within the next 6. We'll just say that sounds better. Okay, we'll say it
Okay.
like that. So this one about, I think it's 12, 13 tracks on there.
No, Nate Wind. It is not Housewives of Cleveland Gospel Artists. It's actually that's not the name of the show, and that's not what the show's about. The show's about the Word of God and living the resurrected life. It's about like the stuff that they do at the studio and the stuff and the preaching that they do, and the interactions with the family. So, is your guys' church open now?
Yes, we're open.
And you guys are having Sunday services?
Yes, we are.
And what's the name of your church, and where's it at?
It's Power of the Word Prophetic Church, and it's on Woodland.
Do you know the address?
Nah. It's like 5 numbers, man. I can't remember. I know it's on Woodland.
It's a good thing that GED paid.
I'm honest, man. I'm honest. I'm being honest. Like I guess I could have made up some numbers, but then that would have people Googling something. But if you Google Power of the Word Prophetic Church.
So shout out to anyone that's out in Cleveland if you want to get a good go to a
Definitely,
good
man.
Sunday.
Non-denominational, like come as you are.
The Resurrected Life, the show is on, where's it at?
It's on Roku television.
And what do they have to look up?
The channel is Dubstar Entertainment Television. DUBBSTARR Entertainment TV, and it should pop up Living a Resurrected Life.
And when do you think you'll have your next episode up?
They'll all 3, 4, and 5 be up by the end of the month.
Okay, so I want everyone that's in the chat to hold this man to this. If it's not up by the end of the month, email me and I will walk a block to his house and cuss him out.
You don't gotta cuss me out.
But so is there anything that you want to touch on before we get off here? Is there anything that you want to say? Does anyone have any questions in the chat?
You know, I do have something to say. I meant to say it when I was over there earlier talking with you, man. Like your movement that you got going on, or this platform, or what this platform you've created, like I could say it's admirable, man. Like I really seen the difference just from when we worked together till now. And the way that you got this platform going, and I think you're doing a great job, man.
I'm literally just a white guy that's going bald with tattoos that yells into a camera, into a mic, talking trash on thoughts and riots and Antifa and whatever's on my mind.
But listen, regardless of the subject matter, the honesty that you bring to it, like I get the subject matters may not be so positive, but like the honesty that you bring, like it, I guess that's one thing that I've learned, like through all this too, like just be you, man. Like,
well, one thing, So Nate says there's only 8 days left to the end of the month. So you bit yourself. You bit yourself in the ass on that one.
Nah. Actually, there's just it's just a small part in the beginning that I gotta get on all three. Like the rest of the episode is recorded. They're just waiting on me. I haven't made my way.
So you have 8 days.
8 days.
You have 8 days before the end of the month. 2, when you were talking about authenticity, the thing of it is like I'm literally this guy not on camera. So like it's really just me, talking to a mic.
I will let y'all know. All subs, all y'all watching, like this man is literally who he. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take a picture when he come over after this interview. This man literally is the same person outside of this camera as he is inside. Like that is the one thing I will say about this guy right here.
And I'm a dick. Like I know I'm a dick. Like I'm okay with it. Like I don't have friends. I have subs. Like that's what I have. I have very few friends because I'm like pickled beets. But they're real good, but you have to like them. If you don't like them, you're not good. They're not good. But there are plenty of people that like pickled beets, and I just happen to be a pickled beet. So, I'm not for everybody, but I'm for some. So, what exactly do you guys have like an outreach program? Like, what is your kids doing? Like, what do your kids do? Like, what type of outreach do you guys have set up for your daughter or for the kids?
Well, back when everything was open, really all youth events is what we were geared towards. The youth events, we would host them in different churches, and we would definitely go to the juvenile detention centers, as I said before. And my daughter, it's amazing when you're able to go and do ministry with your family and allow your wife and your kids or whatever to be a part of it. And every time she hits the stage with me, she always sings her little heart out, man. And when she gets off the stage, she's always running around talking to the kids. And then, like I said, every year before school, we have that free concert, and we hand out backpack and school supplies to the kids going back to school.
And where's it at? Yeah, so Hilton 2.0. He should check out Red Pill content. Don't you worry. I've been trying to red pill this man for years. For years. Like him and his wife have been like they've been like kind of like my adopted parents up here in Cleveland. So like all my women problems, all my kid problems, all of the poor decisions and bad mistakes I've made, I've normally ran it through them before I do it, or as I'm doing it, or after it blew up in my face.
And when we would tell him don't do it, he would just go do it anyway.
Yeah. So with that being said, like he's quite familiar with Red Pill. Plus, he's been watching some of my content. Like he said, he saw the Audit the Thoughts. Like he watched that video. Did you see that video?
Yes, I did. I seen that video, and like, don't get me wrong, like you're right. You're like a pickle beat. You're like it takes a special person to kind of understand where the honesty is coming from.
Yeah. But we're about to hit an hour. So before we wrap this up, is there anything that you want to say to anyone? Is there anything that you want, any of your social media or any of your music or anything you want to put out there or tell people where to look for you at?
You can check me out at Facebook, on Facebook /Rezrected. On Instagram, it's brush_resurrected. You can mainly if go to www.resurrected.org. That has pretty much everything there. All my social media, all my albums up there to play, the contact form, my story, my background, the contact page. That's pretty much it, man. Like, and I appreciate you bringing me on here, man. Like, I had a great time.
No problem, buddy. I'm gonna kick you off this stream, and I'll be over in a little bit.
All right.
So, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me for just a little bit of time, giving me your eyes and your ears and your attention on this stream. This is just another person, one of my friends that has fucked their life up and also come back around to find a better purpose and to do better for themselves. So I just wanted to share his story with people because it doesn't matter. Like, I'll be honest with you, most of the people that I know have been to prison or been involved with crimes. So a lot of the people that I'm going to bring on are going to be able to show you what it's like to completely fuck up your life. And it doesn't matter what race or ethnicity they are. They're able to turn their life around once they get out of their own way and they start taking accountability for their actions. And I just wanted to drop a little bit more of a light onto a good fellow that's in the community that's out here doing something and is trying to better himself and his family by not playing the victim. Like, there's been many a times on the journey of me and him being friends. We've known each other since 2015, and he knew me before I had a kid. He actually, my son's mom and like my son's mom's sister, my son's aunt, went to the same church as him. And like, when I couldn't see my son, him and his wife would take pictures of my son so I could see him. Like, there's been a lot of help that I've received from them, and that's just a good person in my life that I wanted to share with you guys because he is someone that's out here actually trying to do something. And it's just good to be able to show guys that are out in society that are doing something better with themselves, because if you watch social media or you listen to the mainstream media, toxic masculinity and deadbeat dads is kind of a thing that is portrayed out here, and that's just not the case. There's plenty of people that are men that are out here that are doing something. And he was there with me when I was doing when I was blue pill, and he's also seen me go through my red pill stages, my rage. He's seen me through the whole thing. And there's times that we spend a lot of time together, and there's times that we don't. We go with the flow. But this is someone I can tell you, like, I met him when he was doing stupid shit or thought ignorantly about stupid shit, and seen him find God and change his life and completely grow. Like, at the end of the day, me and him have had conversations back when I was on my journey of becoming red pill about the victim mentality. Like, I can distinctly tell you a time when I was working on his crew because he was my foreman, and everyone at my job, I was the minority on the minority. Everyone on our crew was either black or Puerto Rican or Hispanic or Filipino, and I was the only white guy on the entire crew. And they were constantly bringing up conversations between race and the government and all the things that I've talked about in other streams and other videos about the victimhood. And when I would say the things that I said on stream, he thought that I was crazy. And now that we're 5 years later, we do got jokes, Melissa. We know that you like to be on South Chagrin. But over the 5-year journey, I've started to drop red pills, and he's seen my growth and I've seen his. And now he doesn't look at the victimhood mentality the same way that he did back then. So here's just one person that my views have changed the way they see things, and things that the way that he changed has changed my views. And I just feel like that's a very good thing to bring to the platform and to let other people watch and be able to see. So with that, guys, I appreciate the time. If you haven't liked the video, do me a favor and hit the like button. If you haven't subbed, please sub and hit the notifications. Okay, so Nate, the reason that we say South Chagrin is because in Cleveland, if you go and hit Google, there's a good part of Cleveland that's called there's a street that's called Lee Road. All right, so Lee Road is the border of the shitty part of Cleveland to where you start going into the rich part of Cleveland. So when his wife first moved to Cleveland, they lived on Kinsman. Kinsman's it's a bad part of town. All right. So when she would get a ride home from somewhere, or someone would give her a ride and they asked her where she lived, she was too embarrassed to say that she lived in Kinsman. So she would tell people that she lived on South Chardon Road, because once you cross over Lee, once you cross over Lee, it becomes Chagrin. Just like here in Cleveland, when you're on Harvard here and you go across the bridge, it's hard. Like all of our roads are one name on the east side, and then there are another name on the west side. So like Harvard is Harvard on the east, and then on the west side it's called Denison. And it's like that throughout the city. And Chagrin is just like that. Once you go past a certain point east, it's Chagrin. And once you go west, it becomes Kinsman. It's just an inside story. But I do appreciate you guys giving me your time, your eyes, your ears. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please do me a favor and hit the like button. If there's someone that you think that this stream might help, share this stream to them. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and please hit the notifications. Again, guys, I love you for the subs and I love you for the support. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.